chase. In Dynamite Collision on deck, we call every move, every hit, every check. If you want the truth, opinions, and fire, welcome to the winner circle.
Yes, yes, yes. You are gathered with us here on Workhorse Wrestling Network for another episode. In fact, the 61st episode of Winner's Circle. Not that 61 is necessarily in and of itself a memorial episode, but just that we've done 61 of these bad boys. It did start with AEW versus WWE, but we have since morphed into Dynamite versus Collision, and that's where we're at now. So we're going to do Dynamite, we're going to do Collision from last Saturday and Dynamite from Wednesday night. We are going head to head right now with AEW Redemption, and this is the better show. So be here, listen to us talk about prior shows. No, I'm just kidding. But we wanted to flex our muscle. No, I'm just kidding. This was the only time we could get this together to do it. So, but if you are with us or if you're watching both, we appreciate you. If you're here with us, we appreciate you. If you're new to the Workhorse Wrestling Network YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button on this video, hit that little bell. That little bell will make sure you get a notification every time we're ready to go live or put something up on the YouTube channel. If you're with us on Twitch, give us a follow over there. We appreciate you wherever you join us. If you're here with us, chime in the chat. Let us know what you thought about last week's Collision or last week's Dynamite, last Wednesday's Dynamite. Anything else you want to talk about wrestling related? Preferably no spoilers for Redemption, because I do plan to watch it later. I mean, it's not the end of the world if we hear something, but if y'all don't just come in and try to be like, I'm gonna be whatever, because I do want to watch the show. So but if you see something that's amazing or whatever the case may be, and you feel obligated to say something, that's fine. But anything else you guys want to talk about, the best part of Workhorse Wrestling Network is you guys. So without further ado, Miss Anika, how are you doing on this fine Sunday evening over there in sunny Florida?
I'm good. I am very good. I had the day off, which is always great. I just make some oxtails, which I'm chowing down on right now. So life is good right now. How about
Life
yourself?
sounds good right now. It was a quiet weekend. Me and the wife went out for a little date I guess date day today. Date day, I can get it out right. Took a little drive at lunch,
Good.
so nice. We went to a park and walked around a little bit. It was nice. Went to a rose garden. Walked around, saw some roses. Nice. So
Mm.
it was a very pleasant and mellow Sunday. So now I'm ready to talk some wrestling and explain to you why sometimes AEW drives me nuts. Like they have
Yeah.
in their bag, right? They had Double or Nothing, and they had Forbidden Door, and they had a bunch of great episodes. Beach Break was a really solid episode, maybe one of the best episodes in the history of special Dynamite episodes. It felt like a pay-per-view. It was really solid, and
Hmm.
they've had really solid episodes of Dynamite and Collision, and then they brought us this Collision. And not that this Collision was absolutely terrible. I'm not going to say that, but for what it had been and for what I want it to be, and for, I know that he doesn't say it all the time, but for Tony Khan, who says he wants all shows ultimately to feel the same, this Collision was a little down for me. So it started off in Boston, where we were in Boston, Massachusetts. It was
In
Saturday,
Boston.
July 18th, and we get to see the returning Nick Wayne in a match against one of
Yes.
the pillars, Jungle Jack Perry. Now, don't get me wrong, in a vacuum, Nick Wayne versus Jack Perry, I'm here for it. The problem is we never see Nick Wayne, and you're not doing anything
Yeah.
with Jack Perry. Jack Perry has no storyline. So you just bring these two guys out here with there's no buildup, there's no nothing, there's no storyline, there's absolutely nothing. It just, let's put these two guys in the ring and let them open the show, which is fine. Thank God they're both incredible wrestlers, and the match itself was really good. So that's not my complaint. My complaint is just it feels like a throwaway. Like your show's supposed to mean something. The best part of your show is the beginning and the end. And this is a great match if you have some reason to have this match. If you have
Yeah.
something behind it to have I don't even care about Nick Wayne anymore. I mean, I like Nick Wayne because I love Nick Wayne, but he doesn't do anything. And I like Jack Perry, but he's not doing anything, and he's on AEW. Nick Wayne's behind the paywall. So I mean, it is what it is. I thought the match itself was really fun. I enjoy both guys. I like it. I don't know. For a show that had felt really up the past few episodes, I thought this was not the greatest beginning. What do you think, just in general?
No, like I agree with everything that you said, and more so that this could have been a more so hyped up match. As we said, Nick Wayne, even though it's been how so like you said, he came back. I didn't know he was behind a paywall. I thought he was still injured. So for him to come back on Collision, no Mother Wayne, no. Well, I mean, it was going to be like Luchasaurus is gone because he went back with. We could have been a whole thing. This could have been a whole thing where, oh, you took Luchasaurus from me, Jack Perry. Like we could have put this up there, and just like I get it because I'm gonna say the evolution of Wayne. What's his full name?
Nick Wayne.
What is it?
Nick Wayne.
Nick Wayne. I know it's not just Wayne. It's Nick Wayne. Nick Wayne. Like I enjoyed him with Christian. Him by himself wasn't exactly great, but it wasn't bad. But the foot thing kind of downsized everything that it could have been. But his comeback should have been a little bit more special. Like bring him back during a battle royale or something like that. But like I said. But nevertheless, this was a good match. This really could have been hyped up more. And Nick Wayne is still. I don't think he's even 24 yet, so we still have time. It's a matter of nurturing this young star. And yeah, like I said, it wasn't bad. It was just there. It could have been more, which is disappointing.
If you want to just throw these two guys together in a match, that's fine. But do it in the middle of the card. Don't do it at the beginning of the card and make it feel like it's supposed to be important. It's your show opener. Like this is supposed to be something important. We're 2 shows away from Redemption. This is the Collision go home show for Redemption. You know what I mean? And this match means nothing. I mean, essentially your show is opening with nothing. I mean, okay, it's fine. So, like I said, Jack Perry did get the win, which, for all intents and purposes, I guess should be happening. I mean, we don't see Nick Wayne really, and Jack Perry's the AEW roster member, even though they don't do anything with them. So, let's see. The Young Bucks got a lot of things to say to Will Ospreay and Jon Moxley, and they want a match at Redemption. What do they say? They say, all is right in the world of wrestling again because Kenny Omega is world champions. And the Young Bucks were on the hunt again for the AEW tag team titles. It seems like the Elite are back on top again. We watched what happened after we presented Kenny with the title. Ospreay asked us to leave, and this whole thing feels like it might be a setup by the Death Riders. We've had our issues with John in the past, but we've also worked side by side with John. We know how he thinks, and we know he's not to be trusted. We don't trust Moxley, and we definitely don't trust Ospreay. We just saw what the Death Riders have been doing to Cope and Christian. Mox and the Death Riders haven't changed. Omega needs to be shown that he can't trust this guy. Can't trust a guy like Will Ospreay because Ospreay really is a Death Rider. We aim to prove we're the top tag team in AEW, which I don't think anyone doubts, and eventually regain our tag team titles. Ospreay, Moxley, we challenge you to a match at Redemption. So, I mean, yeah, I'm here for it. I mean, we talked about, and I know you've been a little bit down on Redemption's card. I think the card on paper looks fine for the most part. I just think there's a lot of predictability to it, right? There isn't anything that looks like it's going to be, and mostly just because it feels like there's already kind of a path laid out for Wembley, right? And so what happens at Redemption isn't really going to affect anything that's already set kind of for Wembley. So, and I get that. At the same time, the card itself, I don't think is terrible. And I do think that this match with the Young Bucks versus Moxley and Ospreay should be a lot of fun. So, I thought this was fine. I mean, the Young Bucks are always a fun promo. I mean, what do you think of this promo?
This is cool. This is fine. like you said, this is just so close to Wembley. And doing this like in particular is never be conflicting, but it is like, why? Because more so we know it's Osprey versus Kenny Omega, right? So why is Osprey and Moxley versus the Young Bucks affecting what's going to happen with the tag team title? You know, and it is it's just so and I get and for me, I don't need this much conflict right now. It's like where is it so many conflicting ways to go? We don't need that right now, especially with the Young Bucks. And crazy enough, I'm not sure what we're doing with the Young Bucks at Wembley. In my mind, dream match is them versus New Day, but if that's the case, what is Cope and Christian doing if it's not against the Young? So it's confusing, but not in a good way. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like sometimes the ride is good, where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sit back and enjoy it, and sometimes it's like, huh, where are we going?
I saw an article that said 12 free agents that AEW is currently considering and chasing, and none of the names were Bailey or New Day, which I thought was very interesting. So there were the likes of the Motor City Machine Guns. There was Aleister Black mentioned coming back to AEW. Kairi Sane was mentioned as potentially coming, or they want her in AEW. Nikki Cross, and several other kind of mid-carders. The names I'm drawing a blank on now. But absent from that list, it was surprisingly to me was New Day and whatchamacallit and Bailey. So Jim wasn't mentioned either. I was kind of surprised that any of the big names, in my opinion, not to diminish the Motor City Machine Guns, are a huge name in wrestling. That'd be great.
Yeah.
But those three names especially were not on there. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Well, for Bailey, I'm not sure what her contract entails. I'm going to assume it's like a 90-day compete clause. So right now, they can get her if they wanted to. In New Day, I'm going to assume that they want to be in deep. If that's going to happen, that needs to be a surprise. That does not need to be.
According to the internet, says that their non-compete is like August 9th. So technically they can't even sign yet either. So maybe maybe the article was, and I didn't read the whole article. Maybe they were talking about people that are technically able to be signed at this moment, and that's why.
Yeah.
But there were, Motor City Machine Guns. Them versus the Young Bucks, always moves the needle for me. So I'm here for that. Them versus Christian and Copeland is what it is. I like Christian and Copeland, so I love the Motor City Machine Gun, so I would be here for that as well. So that could be a potential surprise at a place like Redemption, a comeback for one of those. So let's see, we get. Speaking of Cope and Cage, we get a video package of them beating Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta on Dynamite, retaining the tag team championships. They were attacked by the Dogs and Claudio, and then the Bang Bang Gang came and made the save, and Cope and Cage challenged the Death Riders to a title match at Redemption. Claudio and Pac. What do you think? What do you think about this just in general? The whole Cope and Cage, Cope and Cage versus the Death Riders at Redemption tonight.
Sure. This really is one of those odd.
There you are.
Yeah. This is really one of those odd moments of, huh? More so because they haven't interacted with each other. Period. The only interaction they had was when the Dogs helped. I guess because of Gabe Kidd, the Dogs helped. Death Riders helped the Dogs beat up Cope and Christian with the Bang Bang Gang, but that never said, "Hey, we want to face Cope and Christian for the top." This feels like out of thin air. It feels like Sorry. It feels like this should have been a rematch between the Dogs and Cooper Christian, but maybe we're delaying that, and this is the delay. But again, yeah. Unless you have been watching Collision and you watch that one segment, which still don't make no sense, besides Gay Kid saying he's both dogs and Death Riders, this is out of thin air. And again, sure, but also, huh? It's like we're going this way. We're going this. Okay, we're going to go this way. You didn't tell me we're going this way. I'm in a car though, so fine.
This is one of those. This is one of those kind of fork in the road issues for moments for me because I'm a huge Claudio Castagnoli fan. And as a general rule, I like what the Death Riders have been and what they've done. I like the Blackpool Combat Club. From the beginning to now, I've liked it in general, right? And I'm here for
Yeah.
the Moxley AEW, the John Moxley of AEW that he's been since he first came, his whole career in AEW. I'm here for all of that.
Sure.
It feels like if Claudio and Pac beat Christian and Copeland for those titles, that feels like a moment for the Dogs. And I say that because
Yes.
Pac and Claudio have done there. They've been there. They've done that. Like we've seen it. Like I'm not ready to put them out to pasture. I love these guys. At the same time, there's young guys that are 20 and early mid to late 20s that are itching and hungry, and it's their chance to a certain extent also, right? Like, and it feels like it's time for it to be their spot to a certain extent, and it feels like they should be the team to be the next tag team champions in some iteration, whether it's Gabe Kidd and David Finlay, whether it's Clark Connors and David Finlay, whatever it is, as opposed to Claudio and Pac, who have all been champions before, been there, done that. Again, not to take anything away from them, and they'd be great champions in their own right. Again, but I'm just saying, it's one of those things where, like, I love these guys so much that it's hard to, but there needs to be a path for the younger guys to still develop, right? So
Yeah.
I'm a little torn.
I don't know why TK don't like the Dogs. That's what it feels like. It really just.
It does kind of. Well, I mean, here's the thing. We know that TK is a wrestling fan, right? Which
Yes.
you can debate about Vince McMahon, whether he was there for the love of wrestling or for to make money, whatever it was. And we know Triple H. I think in his own way, Triple H loves wrestling, but we know Tony Khan is a wrestling fan first and foremost, right? And he has his guys, and he's had his guys that are, the TK guys that he feels nostalgic about. He watched, whatever the case may be, right? And I think to a certain extent, the Edges and the Christians fit that mold a little bit. You know what I'm saying? The FTR some of that mold a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, so you still get the older guys, and it's like, I mean, it's fine. The John Moxleys and again, the Claudios, they deserve everything they get. There just needs to be an avenue for the younger guys also to still start to actually rise and make their mark. I mean, otherwise they're, they're not going to be ready to step up and be the next generation if they don't get the opportunity now to start to progress. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my LeBron James argument too, right? So that's why, as a Lakers fan, I'm kind of glad that he's moved on, because now there's more room for younger guys to move up and to start to get some more time and to grow. Let's see. First of 3 title matches of the night, all disappointing. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love AR Fox. I love Kevin Knight. Same issue I had with Nick Wayne and Jack Perry. Kevin Knight needs competition. I get it. AR Fox is solid competition. There's absolutely 100% no unpredictability here. It's 100% predictable. Kevin Knight's going to win this match. I feel bad because AR Fox is better than being fed to someone where he's just going to lose. He's going to make it look good, and they did, much like Jack Perry. And whatchamacallit, they had these guys had a great match. Both of them were phenomenal athletes. In fact, the action in this was probably even a little bit better than Nick Wayne and Jack Perry, just because the athleticism with both these guys is just through the roof, right? So great match, as you figured. Kevin Knight gets the win, and AR Fox goes back to, I guess, being behind the paywall, or choreographed, not setting up matches, booking matches and whatever he's doing, right? So I want more for AR Fox. I'm never going to get that. I've always wanted more for AR Fox. That's not going to happen. He's already in his early 40s, I think, and he's not. It is what it is at this point. I think is his career. So these little spots, I guess, just have to be content with that. But this is Collision, and Collision has been really, really good. And nothing against AR Fox on Collision, but this is a predictable match. There's no way Kevin Knight is losing to AR Fox for that championship on this Collision with Redemption and Wembley coming right up, down All In coming right up. He's just not going to. So, as great as the match is, another one, and again, no buildup. I mean, I don't get me wrong. Kevin Knight needs challengers, but why AR Fox? I love AR Fox getting the time because he doesn't ever get it, and I like to watch him. But like in the kayfabe world of AEW and the Callis family, there's so many other options you could have used that would have made more sense. Why AR Fox? It's like, okay. So it just seems like bad booking to me. But Kevin Knight does get the win. What do you think about this?
I echo everything again. Where we are AR Fox fans. And we still are pissed off that just because he couldn't make it to Wembley, they're treating him like this. They like what would have been if they would have kept Swerve and AR Fox together just for a little, just for a little bit, So it really does suck because he is that good. But like you said, Kevin Knight needs opponents, and and AR Fox, even though he's either 40 or pushing 40, is still so great in the ring. So it's like, go ahead. But it is, we want more for AR Fox. That's just the meat potatoes of it. But I am glad Kevin Knight gets a win. This Kevin Knight build of him being a top star it's been all right. It just could have been better, like I'm not sure. We could have done better with Kevin Knight. We could have done better. I'll just leave it at that. But this was a good match, though, and I'm glad at least he's getting wins. At least the baseline of it, he's getting wins.
You compare, even just in the Callis family, if you compare Kyle Fletcher's time with the TNT title to Kevin Knight's time with the TNT title, now it's like
the comparison.
Kyle Fletcher wasn't wrestling the likes of AR Fox on Collision. Like, he just wasn't. So, it is what it is. I mean, that tells you what you need to know. Now, to be fair, Tony Khan is super high on Kyle Fletcher, rightfully so. But he should be higher on Kevin Knight as well. I mean, Kevin Knight should be thought of in that same category, in my opinion. I mean, he's so. So after the match, Kevin Knight takes the title over to ringside and plops himself in a chair next to Tony and the Big Show. Oh, he can't call himself the Big Show anymore. He's Paul White. Sorry, Paul White commentary, and starts helping them announce the members of the next match, which includes some Don Callis family members, Brian Cage, Jake Doyle, and the CMLL World Heavyweight Champion Hechicero. And again, Collision is I understand. I get it. Local guys want time. You have no more dark. You have no more elevation. I get it. I even like Gino Medina. I've watched Gino Medina a lot in MLW. Gino Medina is a super talented guy. But in this situation, this is a squash match. This is Collision. And these guys basically, it's the Callis family. So you get what you get. The Callis family gets the win. And I don't really have much to say about the match. Anything you want to say about the match?
No. It's a squash match. So cool.
No. There was a little action after. Let's see. They continue to assault Trent Beretta, or they continue to assault Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero. Continue to assault him, and Archer all come in. Speedball came down. He was and then let's see, the conglomeration, the Rascals, Commander, Jack Perry had a leaf blower. a whole lot of chaos, I remember now, yes, a whole lot of people with a whole lot of stuff going on. One of those situations where it's like, oh, let's jam a whole bunch of people on TV at in one spot, right? So, which is fine. I mean, the Callis family has so many members that, with so many kind of coals in the fire because there's so many members that you can get away with this, right? So, because somebody has a feud with somebody. So, but a lot of chaos. I guess the Don Callis family kind of comes out a little bit. The end, there was a lethal twist from the crowd. I mean, I don't know. What do you think about the post match stuff?
Cool. I'm very interested in this whole Paul White coming back into AEW. To AEW. I don't believe he got. He wasn't fired, but ever since Dark Elevation wasn't happening, I'm not sure how they've been using him. So for him to be on commentary was a nice surprise. But now he's kind of in a Don Callis situation. It is like, huh? Where are we going with this? Like, honestly, I like Paul White, aka Big Show, has not had a retirement match, but I don't think he wants one. Like what? I don't need to know the end game, but it is interesting to be like, oh, pop out of the blue. Oh, there's Paul White. I mean, it's like what we're going with again. This car ride is a very weird car ride we're on, where y'all are not telling us where the freak we're going.
No, I agree. Let's see. Will Ospreay has a lot to say. Let's see. The gist of what it is, he's about to have a match with Adam Brooks. Again, really? Ospreay versus Adam Brooks? I mean, no disrespect to Adam Brooks, but, give me a break. Like, okay. Before his match, let's see. Ospreay, he's in the back. He had this to say is with Moxley. Wembley Stadium is approaching fast, and one of the biggest nights of my life is approaching. I feel a bit cold. I told Tony I need to warm up. I need to freshen things up a little bit. Put me in the ring and find me a sparring partner. He said, I got a geezer who I used to battle with 8 years ago in Australia, Dingley, Melbourne. Battling over in America as well, Adam Brooks, an old friend of mine. Used to live in my house with me mom. She loves him. We've grown apart since then, mate. I've seen you've done well. You know I'm doing well. Do us a favor, lad. Don't take it personal. Then Moxley had some things to say. The Young Bucks and myself have been doing this dance for a long time. Our territories share borders, so naturally we've been enemies, we've been allies, depending on what the situation calls for. But I don't think Matt or Nick would be surprised if I said that I've always had an intrinsic disdain for all things elite. So, Montreal at Redemption, as always, this will be a little bit personal. Listen, I like what just happened. Hold on. I hope that doesn't happen.
No.
Yeah, I know. My computer, sorry. Hold on. I'm trying to change something here. No, I don't want to restart now. Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought it said it was going to restart on its own in 2 minutes, but it's not. I read it wrong. So, okay. My bad. A little short technical difficulty there, or technical check there. Let's see. I like Moxley. I like Ospreay. Ospreay's a solid talker. Trying to hype up a match with Adam Brooks, that's not necessary. Like, come in and talk about what's going on at Redemption, what's going on at Wembley. Don't talk about, Adam Brooks. I don't care. No disrespect again to Adam Brooks, but I don't care. And then Moxley with the Young Bucks. I mean, it is what it is. It's kind of the same old story. We know he doesn't like the Elite. He's never liked the Elite. Moxley's anti-Elite, right? Because the Elite feels like the powers that be, and he's anti powers that be, right? The Elites always kind of felt like the man because they were the EVPs, and Moxley's anti the man, right? He's the counter culture guy, right? So, I mean, it is what it is. So I thought both I thought ultimately both of their promos were fine. What do you think of this?
I totally agree with you. Where both of these were fine. This kind of proves the point of the redemption card y'all, y'all just threw this together. Like that promo, like how you split up a promo between talking about the Young Bucks and talking about your mate that you gonna do a sparring match with. That ain't no offense. I ain't never heard of just who's just your mate. I'm a freak from back in the day, and hey, I need to warm up. So just bring in my dude so I can do a sparring match. Like how do you split these two? How do you split this pro up in two for so opposite reasons? Which is like I ain't gonna say nothing, but this proves my point of y'all just talk. Y'all are just throwing us at the wall for redemption card. Y'all really are. But I'm not, so again. I don't know who Adam Brooks is. I appreciate if you got a friend and you can put him on television, put him on television. So I'm not mad at it, but we are kind of on the road to all in. Redemption is a week away. We might I think we should focus on the review a little bit. It's fine. It's what it is.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to soapbox for a minute here. I am very,
Okay.
very frustrated. I absolutely love the dogs and I love the Bang Bang Gang. This neutered, splayed dogs vet thing is so fucking stupid. I cannot get past it, dude. Like, I am so frustrated and irritated. And this stupid promo, public service announcement from the dogs, like, was, dude, I just cannot do this. David Finley and Clark
Oh my
Connors
god.
brought us a special public service announcement about the recent Bang Bang Gang's actions. Hi, we're the dogs. If you adopted dogs in our name, oh my God. The first line I wanted to shoot myself in the fucking face. Uh, please put them down because the Bang Bang Gang is not what they pretend to be. They promote gang violence and banging, neither of which has a place in AEW. Juice Robinson is an unhinged maniac running around pretending to be a doctor. This is not the work of someone who's mentally sane. The Guns have a generational history of misogyny. Ace Austin haircut is problematic, and Jay White, don't call me a nepo baby bitch. It's not my fault your father is a nobody. So to make AEW a safe space, join us in our campaign to say guns down. I'm sorry. This whole I'm a vet, I'm gonna neuter you because you're a dog and we're the dogs and you adopted the wrong. It's way too many bad puns, way too many promos in a row. I'm done with it. Like, these are two quality factions with high quality guys that are promo guys and high quality guys that are wrestlers. Let's get back to that. This is not good, in my opinion. What do you think of this?
It was I enjoy the creativity of it. What do you call it? I think it was for a good cause, but it was kind of muddled into the feud. So it's like, is this for? It's for that's a dog, right? Spayed or neutered. Okay, that's cool. This would have gone off
Right?
better.
So at the same time, they're also trying to raise money for dogs too. Right? There is a real cause. What the fuck are we doing? Like, you totally, yeah, right? You've totally mixed the, yeah. I don't where the reality
Yeah,
begins and the fake kicks in, and the what? He's all, we
we
hate the dogs.
don't
We're gonna
know.
neuter you. So by the way, Jay White. So by the way, really support our movement to help dogs. It's like, what the fuck are we doing? Like,
We're doing a lot right now, and this, in my opinion, this would have gone off better if we were doing better by the dogs. If the dogs
yeah,
are
well,
doing
that's
better, like actually having wins, this wouldn't be so detrimental. You know, where it's like, oh, okay, like, oh, we're making fun of them because they're winning so much. No, we're keeping a dog, literally keeping a dog while it's down right now. It's like, can we? You gotta build a faction up before you start making fun of them. That's just and y'all haven't done that.
if you want to say one time we're going to spay and neuter the dogs, that's fine. That line is catchy one time. But to have like the whole feud built around Juice Robinson pretending to be a vet and like the back and forth where the bulk of the content of the promos is this weird thing about animals and dogs and neutering and vets. It's like it makes we get it, they're dogs, but so what? Like, you know what I'm saying? The whole thing is, I don't know. I guess it's just not for me, which is unfortunate because I really like both the teams and I think they could have a really phenomenal feud. I just don't like
Yeah.
the storyline of the feud. I guess I don't know. I can't explain, but just that part of it I don't like. Like, so. Osprey,
Yeah.
as you would imagine, comes in and beats his old friend Adam Brooks fairly easily. I mean, not that Adam Brooks doesn't have a couple moments where he has, some some offense and look decent, but it is Will Ospreay. He is the man of the hour. Let's see, Ospreay gets the win ultimately. And I'm trying to see here. I'm trying to remember exactly. Yeah. So Osprey with the win. I mean, I thought the match was, let's say, it was better than the squash match, the previous squash match, right? So it was
Yeah.
better than the Don Callis family squash match, and it wasn't a squash, but it was definitely a Will Ospreay showcase. And again, Collision. No offense to Adam Brooks. There's a lot of people involved with Will Ospreay. You could get him someone better. I know he wants a sparring partner, but you could get him a better sparring partner, right? Hey, listen, iron sharpens iron. Give him one of the fuckers in Death Riders. Put Wheeler Yuta in the ring. Put Pac in the ring. Let him wrestle Claudio. Give him somebody that's worthwhile. I mean, no offense to Adam Brooks, but we don't know who you are. We don't care who you are, and Will Ospreay is going to beat you 100% of the time in AEW ring. Sorry, bro. So, and that's what happened here. Anything you want to say? Well, what you got to say? What you think?
I don't think he's a nobody. I do agree a little though. Again, like I'm not mad at this match. It's just a matter of this. We could find a better time for this match. You know, where it feels like we need like, hey, we need one more match on Collision. Hey, my buddy's in town. How about that? All right, cool. You're on in the middle of the match. You middle of the show. Fine. It feels like that. It feels like again a throwaway match, which is fine sometimes, but sometimes it's exactly how it feels. It's a throwaway match.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, when you get rid of things like dark and dark elevation, you still you want to put on matches, and the only other place to do it is Collision. So I mean, I get that. At the same time, like, this match doesn't do any good for Adam Brooks. I mean, really, I mean, it got him seen on AEW, but it was essentially a squash match. I mean, it wasn't, but it was. I mean, and that's your buddy,
Yeah.
like, that's your boy Will Ospreay trying to help you out and make you look good, right? Like, I mean, at the same time, like,
Yeah.
he's trying to get you an opportunity to make you look good, and it still looked like what it was, right? So it's like, all right, I guess it is what it is. So let's see. Darby Allin wants to know how far Kevin Knight is willing to go. He thinks Kevin needs to be humbled. He says the first time he ever met Kevin Knight, you were going into 2 months of wrestling, and he said he had a lot of potential. He said, you just got to stay humble. And you looked at me and said, Darby, I don't got to change. I'm always going to be humble. I realized that humble kid that I first met was dead and gone when you put me in the hospital. And now, look at you. I'm a celebrity. I'm a star, Kevin. No, you ain't shit, Kevin. And I'm going to humble you by taking that TNT championship away. How far are you willing to go, Kevin, this Wednesday? Let's see how far, Kevin, the Jet Knight is willing to go. So we'll talk about it obviously more when we talk about the match. But I thought this was solid. Darby's always, a decent promo. He always has that fired up intensity. He's always fun to listen to and to watch. I'm not necessarily always the biggest Darby fan, but he's always entertaining. And him versus Kevin Knight should be nothing less than a great match. Both guys can really wrestle, and I'm interested. I don't think Kevin Knight is losing to Darby Allin. I think Kevin Knight finds some way to win, probably with the help of the Don Callis family. But I think Kevin Knight's going to hold that title a little bit longer. And I don't know that they want to put another belt on Darby right now. He just had the world championship. So I don't think Darby's the kind of guy that needs a belt. Darby's so over that he doesn't really need a belt. Not that I'm opposed to him ever having a belt, but he doesn't need it to be over or to get over or to stay over. Like, he's Darby, he's there. So, and I think honestly, I mean, I credit as much of that to Sting as I do to Darby. I mean, Darby's done a lot himself. Don't get me wrong, to ingratiate himself, but fucking, I don't get it. But people absolutely love Sting, and his connection with Sting has made him, in people's hearts, right next to Sting. So, Sting has definitely helped Darby Allin immensely. So I thought this was a fun promo, and I'm definitely looking forward to. Well, I thought the match. We'll talk about it when we talk about Dynamite, but I thought the match was good. So, what do you think of this promo?
Again, no, I love Darby. I adore Darby, and right now we're in a weird spot where he, like you said, he was just AEW World Champion, but I'm not opposed to him winning the television title, the TNT title, because that's his baby. That's his baby. Probably one of his best title reigns was with the title. My only concern is I'm so confused. Where I thought we were building up to this match, but we're only getting on Collision right now. We're getting it on. We got it on Dynamite. Tonight is going to be Kevin Knight versus Kenny Omega. So we could have done Darby versus Knight at All In, but now we're like, that's why I'm like, that's why this build has been sucking, or it's just like I don't like it. I just don't. This is so all putting stuff on the board that don't need to be on the board right now. Just bruh. But
like
great promos.
On time.
Yes, where we could like I don't know what Darby and Kevin are going to do for All In, but that match could have been on All In. And now we're going to graphics ball when we do a Darby and Knight, which is like, okay, I guess.
Yep. Let's see. On to one of our three women's spots, 2 squashes in the main event. Well, not squashes. Squashes. I mean, Ring of Honor Women's World Champion Athena wrestling Ava Everett, and which was essentially an Athena showcase. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm always happy to see Athena out from behind the paywall, but she tapped her out for a dominant victory. The Brawling Birds decided to make their entrance, and they had some words with Athena as they came down to the ring, as the Brawling Birds prepared for their next match. But what do you think of Athena versus Ava Everett? Not much to say here. I mean, Ava Everett is okay for what I guess she probably is. I'm not overly familiar with her. I love to see Athena out from behind the paywall, and I don't know. I'm so torn. Like, you like Ring of Honor? I'm not paying for it, but I like it, and I would love to see it. Like, if it was free, I would watch it. And they have a lot of great wrestlers in Ring of Honor, but because I don't watch it when they pop it up on Collision or Dynamite, it feels out of place. When you talk about filler matches, it's like, okay, we've got 2 hours of Collision to fill. Let's give them an ROH match. That doesn't really mean anything to anything. This is your go home. I understand Redemption is a thrown together show that we don't really care about personally here, because it's whatever. But you care. You're calling it a pay-per-view. You want to charge people $75 on HBO Max for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you do stuff like, I don't know, like, it just, I can't explain it. Like, you have this match that means absolutely nothing to the card that you're ultimately building up to on your show that you want to be considered in the same breath as Dynamite, and you can't do that. Like, I don't know. So, what do you think of Athena versus Ava Everett?
This was cool. And like you said, we love Athena on the show. So Athena, what you call it? Getting more Athena off the paywall is always good. Ring of Honor. I don't know what we're doing with it, bro. I want to know the number. Like how many people are actually paying for Ring of Honor? Like, is it enough to not put it on YouTube? I feel like it would be more. I feel like just put it on YouTube. Like Dark Elevation. Let it replace Dark Elevation and the other one that was on AEW on Mondays. I think Tuesdays. I'm not sure, but there's like just put it on YouTube. Now, like I said, now granted, either way, I love my Athena, so it's fine. But like, this isn't a complicated situation. It's just not. I don't know. But I am glad Athena is more on our television screen. I'm not going to hype up though that this means that she's gonna be on Dynamite or she's gonna win the belt. I'm not sure if that's ever gonna happen. Like that's just my perspective because I'm not gonna say it feels like we've gone past it, but it does feel like the moment it's not here right now. I'll say that. So yeah, just what you call it. Just give us more Athena.
Let's see. So the Brawling Birds pass Athena on the ramp. Hayter and Windsor exchange some words with Athena and some looks. And then the Brawling Birds come into the ring to wrestle against two more women from Ring of Honor, Kayla Lopez and Tiara James, in what ends up being essentially a squash match for the Brawling Birds. So, I mean, I guess we get two women's segments back to back, but both squash matches. And two back-to-back squash matches, along with two other prior squash matches, essentially already. That's four squash matches in one collision. And then we have a Kevin Knight unpredictable, extremely predictable defense, right? And it's like, come on, man. And again, we'll get to it in a few minutes here in the main event, but no offense to Queen Aminata, that was predictable to me as well. I mean, I don't want it to be, but just because of the way that they booked Queen Aminata, it shouldn't be predictable. That should be a 50-50 toss-up match. But the way they book her and compared to Sheeta, I knew Sheeta's winning that match. So I don't mean to spoil it before we get there, and we will get there, but it's just another reason why I was down on this episode of Collision. Very down, honestly, on this episode of Collision. What do you think about the Brawling Bird squash match? And
So we're hyped in squash match. We're hyping them up for All In. Okay, cool. It's one of those necessary matches that, like, they need wins. So this is we call it a fundamental match. Let's give them a win against some random people. So when we give them a chance to face Divine Dominion at All In, it won't be like they're just like surprise, we beat you.
Again, like, we know how good Jamie Hayter is. She's been AEW Women's World Champion. We've seen Alex Windsor in the ring. She looked good. So them against Tiara James and Kayla, whatever her name is, does nothing for me. Like, them getting that squash win doesn't make me feel like their match against Divine Dominion is going to, I mean, it doesn't do anything to really hype it up. Like, it doesn't make me feel like they're any stronger. I already know they're good. Now, if they were to beat Thunder Rosa and Persephone, if they were to beat someone that's a high quality other women's tag team, then sure. Then I'd be like, holy shit, they got a nice big win before All In. But this is a squash match. It does nothing to really hype them up. I know Hayter and Windsor are good. We don't, like, what more? I mean, I don't know.
No, I agree. Or like at least they're on television, just in case you forgot about them. And like, if you don't want it to be like a shock when they come back, sure.
Yeah. Jay White has some words for Clark Connor. He wants him on Dynamite. Let's see. Welcome to the Bang Bang Lounge. we've obviously seen the Dogs PSA. This is Jay White talking about earlier in the evening.
Yeah.
And I think we're all thinking the same thing. Oh, it sucked, right? Ace Austin. Ace Austin. Nobody should be talking about my haircut when I got sweet, thick thighs. And misogynist? Yeah, we love massages. Juice Robinson and Clark, you think I'm an unhinged maniac? Yeah, right. And clearly, they can't hold the candle to the humanitarian efforts of the Bang Bang Gang. Jay White, David Finley, we'd love to lay down the challenge to you, but after the way you skedaddled last Wednesday, it's pretty clear you don't want none of this. But something tells me you'll come running soon enough. But in the meantime, that little pup next to you looks so horny he could hump. All right then. Clark Connors, you want something to sink your little red rocket into? It's a little much, Jay White. How about the chance to dance with the switchblade? Dance in that switchblade spotlight this Wednesday on Dynamite. But just know when it's all done, these lights will dim and you'll be put to sleep. And if you ain't down with that, he got 2 words for you. Guns up. Yeah, I mean, listen, there is no doubt that with Jay White, the Bang Bang Gang is a whole different situation, right? It is
Yes.
amazing how one person can make or break something like that because
Night and day.
it just is what it is, right? And they
Yes.
feel so much more formidable with Jay White back. And I'm here for all of it. I'm not here for, again, I'm not here for the dumb dog puns. I'm not here for the spay and neutering. I'm not here for the bet jokes. I'm not here for the stupid PSAs if you've adopted dogs recently. I'm not here for any of that bad jokey stuff, but I'm here for these two teams wrestling each other. I'm here for I don't know about I'm here I don't know if I'm here for Jay White suggesting that Clark Connors sink his little rocket into him, but beyond that, you know, Jay White's a very solid talker, and I think he did what he needed to do. I'm excited to watch him versus Clark Connors. So, and ultimately him versus David Finley, right? I'm here for this
Yes.
feud. I just wish they had some better creative writing. That's all, I guess.
Nope. I totally agree. First things first. How do we get the Bang Bang Gang lounge before we get the treehouse? How did we get that? How did that happen? I'm a little mad at that. We're like, okay, I'm sorry. In my opinion, the treehouse was more important than the Bang Bang Gang lounge. That's just me, but whatever. But this was, like you said, this was total nonstop stupidity with the Bang Bang Gang, and I am here for it. I am definitely here for it. And I don't think that Jay White would beat this stupid without being this close to oh my God, what's his name? Juice Robinson. By himself, I think Jay White's a normal person. But when you with Juice Robinson, that's when all the craziness spills out, for better or for worse. But we are going to get Clark Connors versus Jay White. That was good. That was a good match on Dynamite. Spoiler later. But yeah, this was just pure stupidness in the best way possible.
Let's see. Then we had what unfortunately for me was another one of these situations where we had a very solid match, 2 good wrestlers, Tommaso Ciampa, Psycho Killer, versus Myron Reed of the Rascals. I love both these men. This is a Nick Wayne Jungle Jack Perry situation. It's a Kevin Knight AR Fox situation. Like, I love Tommaso Ciampa. And I love him being in AEW. I'm very down on what he's doing right now with Chris Jericho. But I love Ciampa. I love
Yeah.
Reed. I feel like, unfortunately, in this situation, Myron Reed is the third wheel or he's the insignificant part of this because really this is about Ciampa and Jericho. And Myron Reed's just there to wrestle Ciampa in the meantime. So Tommaso Ciampa does get the win over Myron Reed in a solid match. I thought the match itself was fine. Then post match, apparently, God, this tells me everything I need to know about Paul White, which really too bad because I absolutely love Paul White. At least I used to. But the fact that Tommaso Ciampa goes over to the announce table where Paul White and Tony Schiavone are at, and climbs up on a chair so that he can be kind of eye to eye with Paul White, which is hysterical in and of itself. Tommaso
Yes.
Ciampa standing on that chair is still almost shorter still. I mean, just a hair like taller than Big Show, but and says, "I know you're best friends with Chris Jericho," which just I didn't know that, and the fact that Big Show is friends with Chris Jericho tells me something I didn't know about Big Show, unfortunately. So
No, remember?
Chris Jericho's really not a good human being in general. So like the fact that the Big Show is his best friend and loves Chris Jericho, it is what it is. But I don't want to disparage people too much, but it is what it is. And says, tell Chris Jericho I'm not scared of him. I want the Ping Maker at Redemption in a no holds barred match. I am so pissy about this. Like I am so irritated about this. Like I wanted so much for Tommaso Ciampa when he came to AEW. I didn't have a problem with them coming in and winning the title right away. I thought we're gonna get Mark Briscoe, we're gonna get Kyle Fletcher feud. He's gonna just be, and now here we are, Jericho Vortex, and now he's, and even though this match at Redemption tonight is only the second match, it feels like this has been going on far too long. I thought it was the third. I thought this was the third match.
Yeah.
Only the second. I had to look at it because it felt like the third.
Yeah.
And so I was like, fuck, man, like this is the third match in 4 weeks, and I'm so tired of this. Like, and it is what it is. Tommaso Ciampa versus Myron Reed, solid match. Disappointed that Myron Reed gets kind of fed to Tommaso Ciampa in this storyline because Ciampa needs a win to push him into redemption and make him look strong. At least he had a strong opponent. At least they gave him a strong opponent. So that was good. The match was better. At least it wasn't a pure squash match, right? Like we'd seen already earlier in the night. So I'll give them that. But the post-match stuff and now another match with Chris Jericho Redemption, just okay. Whatever. Fucking Tony Khan. His love for Chris, I just don't get it. I don't understand. I just don't understand people that love Chris Jericho. I just don't. I don't get it.
Now, okay, a couple of things. Still love, I totally agree with you. Loved, like Jericho was a thing back in the day. That was one of the people that was a must watch during the Attitude Era, and even in the 2000s, the 2010s. But needless to say, as of right now, yeah, it's much less to be desired. With him and Jericho, like I think best friend is a stretch. But if you remember, they were in WCW together. They were a tag team in WWE. What the Jericho? I think it was called Jericho Show. Where it's like no offense, this probably was the best collaboration of theme songs that you'll ever. Well, break the one down. It's the bishop. That's probably the best combo of theme songs that you'll ever look up. So I had to give it to them. I digress. Either way. So I think just to, like I said, big best friends a stretch, but I guess it's like, okay, to hype the match up, we already have Paul White out there. Might as well use him for the hype of this match. Is cool. Again, is this leading to a Paul White return? Is Paul White introducing someone to wrestle on his behalf? That's more so the most interesting part of this whole thing, because I do agree with you about Ciampa and this Jericho Vortex. I really hope that this wasn't a thing, or it's like, and you said second match, so it's like we don't need a third. We don't need a third. So please, whoever wins tonight, just let it be the end of it and set Tommaso Ciampa free. That's more so where my heart is at. Like, just set him free after this. But if there's something more happening with Paul White, I'm not opposed to it. In any capacity, I'm not opposed to it at all. But yeah.
I mean, I have my feelings about a potential like Paul White, Tommaso Ciampa thing, just because I have my issues with the whole big little guy thing, big guy little guy thing. But that being said, I mean, I like the Big Show, and I wouldn't be opposed to watching him wrestle again. So he's one of the few big guys that I think does a good job with the little guys.
Yeah.
So even
Yeah.
though it's not very believable, he does a good job. Renee wants to talk with Andrade and ask him how he was going to be prepared for his upcoming match. But before he could get there, Mark Davis attacked him and choked him out and said, Uncle Donnie says, have a good night. What'd you think of this? I mean, I guess there isn't a whole lot to talk about other than Mark Davis choking out Andrade.
Cool. No offense to Mark Davis, but this belt has not had a good run right now. So anything to hype up the match, I'm here for, especially with Andrade. I think Andrade is a good baby face. He's in a good space, but we are at a teetering point of making him feel less important. And I don't want that to happen. So whatever to hype up Andrade in the next trajectory of his career, I'm here for. So yeah, check him out to hype up the match. Cool. I am here. I'm cool with all this.
I agree with that. I think Andrade is going to take that title from Mark Davis here very shortly, and I'm here for that. No offense to Mark Davis. I like Mark Davis a lot, but Andrade is trying for a belt right now.
Yes.
He's getting over. He's over essentially, and he's extremely talented. And when it comes down to it, I talk a lot about levels, and unfortunately for Mark Davis, he's not on Andrade's level wrestling wise. He just isn't. So, in my opinion, Andrade beats Mark Davis every day of the week, really. I mean, in a singles match. It's just my opinion. So, but it should be fun nonetheless. Let's
Yes.
see. Renee is backstage with the CEO, Miss Mercedes Monet, and she's going to talk about wrestling the winner of Thekla and Willow, which is coming up at Redemption. And but who is she going to pick? She says, Renee, you know where we are, Boston, the city of champions, and we don't celebrate second place. We collect championships here. All in, the AEW Women's World Champion is coming home to me. And then we get a CEO chant from the crowd. And she goes on to further say, now, Renee, you want to ask me about Tekla and Willow? I don't give a damn who's walking out of Redemption with that title at all. I'm taking what's mine. Tekla wants to walk around here and talk about being toxic. But the thing is, when things got a little too loud in here, when I cracked her head with this title, she ran and took her ass to Japan. And Willow, after I beat you on Dynamite, you took your ass to Japan too. It's funny how both of you ended up in the same place. One hides behind a fake little poison, and the other hides behind a fake little smile. But neither of you can hide when the bell rings. Renee, I'm so sick of the damn question of who's walking into All In with the title. Wrong question, Renee. The only question that matters is who's walking out with the title, and that's the CEO. I thought this was perfect. I love Mercedes. I love when she's in her bag, and I thought this was perfect. There are some times where her eyes to me look a little too sad as opposed to angry. Like almost she's like she has that like angry to level of cry almost sometimes about her, which I'm not always the biggest fan of, but she's still Mercedes and she's, immaculate and she is what she is, right? So I thought this was perfect, great promo. She shouldn't care who she faces. She's Mercedes Monet. And it doesn't really matter. Personally, God, I am so torn here. I absolutely love Willow. Willow out of these three women, if I had to pick a favorite, Willow's my favorite out of the three. Personal favorite, like fan favorite, like the one I. But Thekla has grown on me big time, and she is insane in the ring. And her versus Mercedes, like the thought of that match on a pay per view is insane to me. So, like, I just don't know. I'm here for either one of them, and I honestly don't know who's going to win tonight between Willow and Tekla. I think it's very up in the air. This might be the most 50-50 match on tonight's Redemption card, in my opinion, honestly. I think it's very possible Willow could end up AEW Women's World Champion tonight and go into AEW against Mercedes. I could see her losing and maybe squeezing her way in and making it a three-way at All In, which is something I'd be here for too. But I could definitely see her winning, and I could still see a three-way even if she won. I could see Tekla wanting a three-way after losing, but I could very easily see Willow winning tonight. So, what do you think of this Mercedes Moné promo? What do you think about tonight's match on Redemption? And who do you think is going to end up ultimately going into All In against Mercedes?
No, I agree. This is actually a really good promo, and of course we're in Boston, and so we have to have a little dose of the CEO. This is probably the most unpredictable match on the card. There was something said to this may be the main event. If only, but it's not happening. But no, I can see why they said it, because this is for the women's World Heavyweight Championship, and this does decide who goes on to Wembley. In my opinion, triple threat. Triple threat that sucker. Like, make it where it's Tekla versus Willow versus Mercedes. Like, I honestly, I was thinking about maybe a triple threat with the men, but it's like no, they're having a heart set on it being Ospreay versus Omega, and I get it. So make it a triple threat with the women. I honestly think that would be for the best, and it's probably it'd be more hyped up as well, and a better build for All in my opinion. Because I'm with you. We're Willow fans, no matter what. We want to see our girl shine, but if she wins, she'll be a transitional champ for Mercedes again, and I don't want that. Like, well, she could beat Mercedes. Get up. Stop it. If it's Willow versus Mercedes, if you want me to put money on it, I'm putting money on Mercedes beating Willow, unfortunately. At least with a triple threat, a little bit more doubt closing the mind, and Tekla's been killing it where she deserves to go to All In. So with all that being said, yeah, triple threat that sucker. Triple threat. That's the best. I think that's the best thing for everybody and for All In as well. Yeah. But this was Mercedes Moné. When she's in her bag, she is definitely in her bag.
No doubt. Let's see. Then we had another title match, another Ring of Honor match, another match that unfortunately, no offense to Adam Priest, there's very little doubt here that Bandito's not retaining his Ring of Honor World Championship here. So you have Ring of Honor World Champion Bandito versus Adam Priest. We've seen Adam Priest a few times in the past. He's had a couple decent matches, and he's a solid, wrestler, solid mid-card guy who doesn't get enough time. He'd be perfect for a show like Elevation or Dark Elevation, right? But It is what it is. So Ring of Honor World Champion Bandito does get the win. It wasn't a squash match, but it definitely wasn't what I would call it's not a 5-star classic. This was, a 2-star Bandito win. I still have to say, as cool as the 21 plex looks, even when it goes off, I think the way he wants it to 100%, it still looks a little funky to me just because the guy has to be in the exact right position. It's like the 619. I'm not a fan of finishing moves where the opponent can only be in one position for it to happen. Like, for Bandito to hit his finisher in every single match he's in, at the end of every single match, his opponent has to be holding the ropes like this in the same position at some point. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to happen every single match. Like, this isn't supposed to be, we're not supposed to think it's choreographed. We know it is, but we're not supposed to think that when we're watching it, right? And so, again, no offense to Bandito in that move. I just think it's one of those ones that shouldn't be. That's one of those moves that's done here and there when the opponent is in the right position. not trying to constantly get the opponent into the right position to hit that move in the match. It should be a special move once every 5 or 10 matches when the opponent happens to be right in the right position, not his full-time finisher where they have to be in that position every time at the end of the match to pull the move off. So, it is what it is, but he is the Ring of Honor World Champion. Again, another Ring of Honor match that really, for essentially a go-home show for Collision before Redemption, I said it before, I'll say it again, I don't really need it. And again, a title match with a guy like Adam Priest, no offense, it's predictable. Bandito's getting the win. So, and as you would expect, Bandito got the win. What'd you think of this?
Same sentiment all around. Like, no offense, but this is just you're affected by bad timing, unfortunately. Whereas, like, again, Bandito is going against Cal Fletcher, and no, he's not losing before facing Cal Fletcher. I'm sorry, he's not. And again, and then sometimes he said, even if you don't know, even if you know the outcome, is at least show up, show out. But this, it wasn't even a show up, show out kind of match. It was just like it was just here, where it's just like, we could have done better, guys. We really could have done better.
I agree.
Oh, but it is what it is.
Unfortunately, it is what it is. That seems to be the theme of this episode of Collision. It was what it was. The Sisters of Sin, and when the Triangle of Madness won the Artist of Stardom titles, I think it's a trios title of some sort.
Right, yeah.
And they sent back like a little video package after winning. The Sisters of Sin say to Divine Dominion, we're now 2/3 of the Artist of Stardom champions, and we're still hungry for gold because this was just an appetizer. Megan and Lena, we get it. You don't like who we are and what we do, but do you get it? But do you just hate it, or are you afraid? You guys are big and strong, so you shouldn't be scared of a little blood and some weapons. We want to show you that there's nothing to be afraid of. So why don't we invite you into our world next week, Nashville, AEW Women's World Tag Team Championships, in a hardcore match. The undefeated tag team champions shouldn't be afraid of the Sisters of Sin, right? Well, let's find out. Again, oh my God, I'm sorry. We missed an episode of Winner's Circle where I want to say it was a week or two ago. It was either on Dynamite or Collision. I want to say it was Collision because I don't think they would have put it on Dynamite, where Sky Blue had a solo promo where I swear to God, she sounded like a robot. She literally just stood there and read the lines like off the teleprompter for like a minute and then just was like, I'm done. And I was like, holy shit, like this is maybe the worst promo I've ever heard in my life. But that being said, this was, okay. I mean, Sky Blue is a terrible talker. Julia Hart's a little bit better. I'm not really here for either of them talking. I'm not really here for either of them in general. There was a time where I liked Julia Hart a little bit, and I thought that her future was kind of bright. And I don't want to disparage her, but I really think, unfortunately, being paired with Sky Blue, in my opinion, has brought her down a peg. And the Thekla teaming is fine, but the Sky Blue is so bad. She just really is, and I don't know. And so there's no chance that they're beating Divine Dominion at Redemption. So it is what it is. What do you think of this?
No offense to Julia and Sky Blue, but you're with Tekla. Why are y'all talking so much? Get y'all all together. I want more. I want 75% Tekla, 15% Julia, and 10% Sky Blue. Like let's all have our strengths here, and get the job done. It is not Sky Blue and Julia. It's not Sky Blue and Julia doing most of the talking. I know it has less to do with Tekla, but you make it work where Tekla says something more. But it is what it is. Again, this did not give me hope that. It didn't give me any more to have Justin beat Divine Dominion. It is what it is. No offense, and it was just there.
Agreed. Unfortunately, they haven't done very much of anything to give us any reason to think that Divine Dominion's winning or losing those titles anytime soon. They haven't prepared anybody really to. But again, it is what it is. That brings us finally to the main event of this episode of Collision. At least the women get the main event spot. I wish that there was a little more hype for this match. It is your TBS Women's World Champion, Hikaru Shida, taking on Queen Aminata, who we absolutely love here on Winner's Circle. We love both these women. We are Shida and Aminata fans for sure. 1000% happy to see Hikaru Shida back in AEW. I kind of like this unpredictable Shida that no one quite knows what to make of. Like, they're not sure if she's good or bad or happy or sad or angry or joy. Like, and I kind of like it. I'm here for kind of just the unbalanced Shida. So I kind of like it. And huge fan of Queen Aminata. I really wish they would just book her better so that this match didn't feel predictable.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I kind of knew Shida was winning this match. I felt pretty sure. Even though Aminata looked good and I thought both women shined out. I feel like this is another one of those. This collision had either squash matches or matches that didn't make sense in many respects. Like, good wrestlers put together in a match that makes no sense. Like, there's no build-up for Shida versus Aminata. There's no nothing. And Queen Aminata has done enough in AEW to deserve some sort of storyline and build up to a match to a title match with someone like Shida, even if it's only going to be on a collision. There could be a little bit of, so, again, a solid main event. Glad it's the women. Glad the TBS title is getting to shine in the main event. Glad it's on the belt, on the waist of someone like Hikaru Shida, who's a solid women's wrestler. Glad Aminata is getting the chance. I wish they booked her better so it felt like she had a more viable opportunity to win. But that being said, the match means nothing. This does really nothing, gearing us up for either redemption or all in. And it just is what it is. So, okay. I mean, the match was fine. And other than that, the episode of Collision for me overall was very, very down. I'm going to give this like I want to give it like a D, but I think that's a little harsh. I can give it like probably a C or C minus. I'll give it a C just because it was in D range for me, but there were some decent matches, so I'll give it a C. C's a stretch, but C's as high as I can possibly go for this episode. I was very disappointed with the 4 squash matches. They presented as 3 title matches, but all of them were predictable. Knew all 3 of the champions were retaining their titles, and a whole bunch of matches that meant nothing in the scheme of things, like storyline wise. So, what do you think of the main event and the show overall? What's your grade?
I agree with you with the whole Aminata. I honestly, like, if we're going to pick anybody to to end Shida's reign, I would pick Aminata. So them doing it right now was kind of a like, aw, dang, why? You could have waited. It's cool that it was the main event, but like you said, because it was so early, we kind of knew who was going to win. But I am here for what they're doing with Shida. I am. We're just like, oh, okay. When she won the belt, I wasn't mad. I was like, let's ride the wave and see where it goes. And as of right now, I am loving it. I just like the match, the opponent. I wish would have been in a different category because again, I think I'm not actually been the one to end her title reign, but nevertheless, Shida is still Shida. It's a good match. So good for her for having a good match, and the title reign continues. We'll see where it goes down the line. But yeah, this collision was not gonna say a throwaway, but it was clunky in places, and it was too many matches that didn't have any weight on them. Unfortunately, I think they were trying to put some more stakes by putting the Ring of Honor belts on them. But the flip side of that is if you're behind the paywall, this really didn't surprise you nonetheless about what was going on. So I give it a C minus. I'm sorry. Just like I'm trying to think of anything on here to be like, yes, watch. You have to go back and watch. It's not really any, like maybe one or two matches, but if you missed it, you missed it. No offense. So yeah, C minus.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So you gave it, I gave it a C, you gave it a C minus, but we're both in that camp that it was a down episode. Brings us to the end of the collision review. So we'll switch to Dynamite, and Anito will take us through AEW Dynamite from Wednesday night.
Hi, I'm Anika, and this
Yeah, for
was
22nd.
Dynamite. My birthday.
Oh, what's your
Yeah, it was my birthday that Wednesday.
I didn't even.
Yes. Oh, thanks. Oh, shucks. But I did watch it live, so it goes to tell you what I did that day. Okay. Either way, it was. I'm good. So we start this off.
In a good way or a bad way?
Just moving on. It was that. We start off this Dynamite with Osprey and Kenny Omega talking about their trios match tonight. And listen, I love Will Ospreay. He's like a big old kid right now, where it feels like he's like jumping for joy. Like, yay! I get to tag with my mentor and my biggest hero in the world. Like, he's so the small is infectious, and it gives me so much joy. It does. Where and then like he's like, listen, mate, I know you've been wrestling a lot and you're still recovering. So if you feel the need to you feel like your energy's going low, just tag me in. He's like, I feel pretty good, but you've been going hard prior to your training. So if you need me, if at all you need to tag me in, you just tag me in. And here comes Moxley, just to bang up the whole freaking the scene. It was like the tension is palpable. And he walks out. The kid's like, it is now. I love that. I love this storyline. I wish, I honestly wish, no offense tonight, if this was Moxley versus Kenny Omega at tonight, I think this would have been a different level of pay-per-view. No offense, that's just me. But I love this segment. It speaks to the whole rivalry and the whole story we're dealing with. Osprey training with Death Riders and facing his hero Kenny Omega, which is like, no offense, I didn't know what was going to be. How did he become how did he become a hero? Because didn't he beat the crap out of Kenny Omega in the freaking Tokyo Dome about 2 or 3 years ago? But I digress. He's his hero. So it's fine. But no, I love this opening of Dynamite. You're fine.
Yeah, no, I mean, I liked it. I mean, I'm not always for kind of just forcing people to coexist when you know that they're not, and when you know that it's supposed to be whatever. But
Yes.
that being said, these three guys are so good that whatever they do is, I mean, basically is always gold, right? So, and yeah, I mean, I love the joy in Will Ospreay of having what looks like his two mentors, right? Kenny Omega to a certain extent, and John Moxley, both kind of guys he's looked up to in the wrestling industry, both guys he's had tough matches with, gone to war with, all those things, right? So it's very cool. You can tell that he's extremely happy, and yet you can see two grumpy old men that don't really want to be friends. And they have a lot of history, Moxley and Omega. So I mean, as well, they shouldn't be friendly. So I'm here for that rub. I think the whole thing is fun. We'll talk about the main event when we get there and how I thought it all necessarily came off. Again, one of those coexist type situations that I'm not always a huge fan of that wrestling trope and storyline, but they do it all the time. So, that being said, three great personalities. So this promo worked well. I thought this little promo segment worked well. Good opening part to the show.
Yes, it was. I loved it. All right, and so next we are on to our main event. Oh, sorry, not main event, but our first match, our first match of the card, which was Darby versus Kevin Knight. Now, again, for the TNT title, very. I don't. Why are we doing this match now? But fine, let's do this match now. So I guess a little. I'm not gonna say I knew who was gonna win because in my mind they could have done a thing where they let Darby win and give a little bit of an edge of Kevin Knight beating Kenny because he has no belt now. So either way, I'll give them that of a little bit of a will who will win aspect of the whole thing. But this again, TV match. Darby Allin. It's gonna be great. Because Darby Allin, he does not care if it's TV or pay per view. He's gonna do what Darby does, and this was no different. And even though the Kevin Knight's ascension has been a little rocky, match wise, he's gonna give it to you no matter what. So this was a very good match. One of the highlights was what you call it? Darby was living on a table. Oh, what do you call it? He was by the ring person, the ring announcer, where they hit the ring bell to end the match. He was in that section, and Kevin Knight goes for a clothesline. I think AEW tables just don't like Darby anymore. He's like, look, I'm not sure how many times you want to do this, but we have all decided you're not going to break us for your pleasure. So, of course, they hit the clothesline. They don't break. They don't break at all. But it's fine. They're good. Darby came up with a lip like, oh, wait. But now he's just a good wrestler. Another one was a code red from the top rope where I had to rewatch that scene because it looked like Kevin Knight almost missed his head. Where it's just like it felt like he almost did a thing where I was like, oh, is he good? Because the rotation I'm sorry, a red eye, you land on your back, but the foot had so much momentum where he landed on his face. But thankfully it wasn't his face, not his neck, so I'm good with that. And he's like, oh, well even though it was great, Jerry's like, nah, I want to do it again. And so let's do the red eye good again, but only a 2 count. And it's just like I am on the fence about people's finishers not finishing the match. And a red eye off the top rope, and you're not getting with 1, 2, 3. It is like, okay, fine, but unfortunately, depending on who you're rooting for, with a coast to coast and and a UFO splash, 1, 2, 3, Kevin Knight wins without the help of the Don Callis family. So a good win for Kevin Knight, where it's like he beat someone great. I wish you would have been on Redemption. I'm like, what? But you're facing Kenny Omega. This is why I'm like, this is so clumped up. This was a great match. You're not.
I mean, Darby and Kevin Knight have solid chemistry. Darby's matches are always, they start in 3rd gear and they end up in 5th gear, so they're always fun to watch. Lots of,
Yes.
human wrecks, human crashes. I love that. All that stuff. His intensity and his love for wrestling makes you, engage in all of his matches. Doesn't surprise me. Kevin Knight gets the win. I didn't think Darby Allin was going to get the win here. I'm a little surprised that Kevin Knight got the win without the help of the Don Callis family, but I understand it after we get to the next segment because it kind of bled into the next segment. What I'm frustrated with here is that for me, this feels like Kevin's biggest win since he's had the TNT championship, and yet they've made such a big deal about how now this is his 10th win and he's got more than Kyle Fletcher. Well, great, but he hasn't wrestled anyone near the caliber of opponent that Kyle Fletcher wrestled where he was TNT champion. So it doesn't really matter. Like, I don't understand why we're making such a big deal of Kevin Knight's TNT title run when really it's not that impressive. I mean, we don't do that for everybody, and we don't do that for people when it's really impressive. Why are we doing it for someone when it's not overly impressive? So it feels like they're doing it because they want to pit, as we're going to see here in a minute, Kyle Fletcher versus Kevin Knight, right? And Kyle Fletcher's getting tired of Kevin Knight talking about how he's the better TNT champion. And at this point in time, as much as I don't really like that storyline for Kyle Fletcher, I would imagine Kyle Fletcher's going to take that title at some point from Kevin Knight. I mean, that feels like the natural. It feels like a step back to me to a certain extent for Kyle Fletcher because he should be moving towards a world championship. He should be in the middle of that Ospreay, Omega, Moxley. He should be right there with those guys, and he's not at the moment. But I do think he's going to end up taking that title probably from Kevin Knight, unfortunately. And then we'll have to see what ends up happening with the Don Callis family. I mean, so much tension around the Don Callis family, which we'll talk about next here in a minute. But yeah, I mean, the match itself was fine, and like I said, probably the best win for Kevin Knight since he's been TNT champion. Yeah, and you're right.
No.
They did miss it. I mean, don't get me wrong. You have to have solid matches on Dynamite, and you want it to be a good show. But this should have been on Redemption. And I mean, Kevin Knight is not beating Kenny Omega at Redemption. He's just not. And so I don't. It feels like at least this match there could have been some unpredictability to this match at Redemption.
100%. Yeah. All right, but we're talking about this. So match over. Kevin Knight wins. He gets on the mic, and the jet Kevin Knight is just arrogant as all get out. And as you say, the Don Callis comes out to celebrate Kevin Knight. Yes, Kevin Knight puts on the show of he outdoes Kyle Fletcher's record, and like you said, I'm like, we gotta run this back. I still don't believe you, but this what happens when the scoreboard gets pushed to the side, where it's like, what's the word? Who's really gonna check? But I would check because if you go the Kyle Fletcher talent range, I guess it's a matter of quantity versus quality. So maybe he's won a lot more matches than Kyle Fletcher, but the quality of matches that Fletcher had, you're not beating that homeboy. But either way, and so Kevin Knight goes on to pontificate about how he's so good. This is why he didn't want the Don Callis family out here to help him beat Darby Allin. And Kyle Fletcher, man, he got his big boy pants on in this segment where after Kevin Knight just starts basically taunting him, so like in particular, and Kevin Knight, Fletcher grabs him like he's like, great for you, Kevin Knight, but you're the only big star in this group. So with that being said, I'll say that for my match against Bandito at Redemption, I don't want the Don Callis family anywhere near the match, so I can beat him by myself. And then here comes Okada for their tag team. We don't even need their help when we're facing Bandito tonight. So he goes to Kevin Knight, and with the hardest shove in the world, now get out of my ring. Bang! And he hits him so hard with the mic. I'm like, and then Don Callis is off in the freaking corner and smells a crackhead. Sir, emotional crackhead, allegedly. But like, sir, I need you to get your family under control. I get that you like the competition of it all, but this is not going to end well for you. If they keep going on like this, somebody else gonna leave your family. So I'm gonna need you are working so hard to keep Okada and Takeshita not at odds. So why are you just letting this implode in front of your face? It makes sense in my brain. But yeah, Kyle Fletcher with a big boy pants on. You didn't have to shove the mic at Kevin Knight that hard, is my opinion. But I love every minute of it. Kyle Fletcher being a big boy right now. Your thoughts on this segment?
I mean, I thought this was great. I mean, this is exactly what Kyle Fletcher should be doing. I mean, there really isn't a
Yeah.
comparison between Kyle Fletcher and Kevin Knight, in my opinion, as much as I like Kevin Knight. And yeah, Kyle Fletcher's right. Get out of my ring. It's my time to wrestle. And, yeah, I mean, you can have all the wins you want, but I had better quality wins. I had against better quality opponents. My title reign felt, when I had the TNT championship, it felt like a main event title. While you have it, it feels like a mid card title. And that's just the way it is, unfortunately. So enjoy your mid card run with your mid card title. And I'm going to still be Kyle Fletcher. So, I mean,
In
you're right.
a
I was a little
nutshell.
surprised. Like, I, I, I get that you want the iron sharpens iron, and it's healthy to have everyone thinking that they're the man and that all those things. But like, Don Callis is standing on the apron, basically not involved at all, just kind of watching. Like, dude, you're the head of this. Like, you should step in and be like, "No, stop this," or be in the middle and say, "Hey, go ahead and let's arrange a match between you two and let's do it the right way." Either everyone get out of the ring and let these two settle it, or shut the fuck up. But do something. Like, you can't just stand on the side and be like, "Oh, it is what it is." Oh, dude, you're the one that's in charge. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, that was kind of odd. And this is unfortunately um, a symptom of having a faction with too many guys, right? I mean, it's inevitable that guys are going to butt
Yeah.
heads, right? And so we already had it with Takeshita and Okada, and it resulted in Takeshita leaving. And we'll see what ends up happening here. But it wouldn't surprise me if this ends up in a match between Kyle Fletcher and Kevin Knight, and one of them, probably Kevin Knight, leaving the Don Callis family. I mean, I don't, we'll end up seeing, but I don't know. But I mean, in a vacuum, it's fine. I mean, I enjoyed it for what it is. I mean, Kyle Fletcher's great. So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it for what it is.
Yeah, no, this was definitely entertaining. All right, and so next up we have the match. So next time we have the match with Rodito versus Okada. I love Okada saying that. And again, it's Okada, Fletcher, Rodito, Brody King. It's gonna be a good match, and it definitely was so freaking good. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of a miscommunication between Okada and Cal Fletcher, and Okada did him with a rainmaker. But in Okada faction, I'm so sorry. Are you sorry? You do not feel like you're sorry. And with the suplex, 1, 2, 3, those Bandito pins Cal Fletcher. Crazy? Yes, but if you believe in the trope of whoever gets beat on the TV show will win on review, and it's like we could have had Brody King pin Okada, but now that Bandito pins Fletcher, it's more than likely you're not gonna win, which sucks because I do want a little bit of a mystery between Bandito versus Calvin tonight, but it is what it is. Outside after the ring, after the match outside, Okada, who is my favorite heel, is like, he's clear. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean it. While he's being reprimanded by Fletcher, it's hilarious because we all know if Okada wanted to beat the crap out of Cal Fletcher, he could. And no, with Cal Fletcher, again, I think you need to know when to put the big boy pants on. That's Okada. That's the dude who's been up against Kenny Omega, and I would say, did you say that? Okay, we put Kenny Omega about 5 freaking times. So please do not play with this man. That is not a boy. That is a man. And lastly, we were here last week. You're going cash crazy. Think about you're gonna be the best international champion, and right when Okada was behind you, and Okada was like, "Excuse me," and it's like, "Sir, I need you to read the room before this goes off." So again, I appreciate that you think you're in control, but again, let's not play with Okada because that man is a sociopath when he wants to be. But either way, all this looks good in my opinion. Your thoughts?
I mean, I thought this was fun for what it was. I mean, the The match itself, I mean, I'm surprised that Brodito gets the win. I was very surprised that Bandito got the clean pin on Kyle Fletcher. I
Yeah.
do I do agree with you that I think, unfortunately, that's a 100% indicator that he's going to lose at Redemption. And again, I think we had that same issue with the 21 plex. It looked very dumb when Kyle Fletcher was holding onto the ropes to be in the right position for it. But that being said, always happy when Brody King and Brodito get a win, especially over quality opponents like Okada and Kyle Fletcher.
Yes.
In my mind, as much as I love
In
Brody
my
King, and
mind.
I'm not, I'm fine with Bandito. He's not one way or the other for me per se.
Yes.
But it feels like Okada and Fletcher should be beating them regularly, and the fact that they got the win, I like that. I mean, it feels good to me that they got that win. Brody King, I was very nervous about what was going to happen to him after they lost the championships, the tag team
Yeah.
championships. And I feel like even though he hasn't done anything special per se or had a singles belt or anything, they've done a good job of making him still feel relevant. He's had matches on shows,
Hmm.
they've kept him on TV. He still looks strong. They've done a good job of keeping Brodito together as well as wrestling them
Hmm.
separate, even though they're not tag team champions anymore, which I thought would be the end of them essentially as a tag team, right? Because they were Frankenstein tag
Yeah.
team with. So I'm glad that they haven't given that up yet. And I'm glad that they get the win in this spot. So all that said, I think it's great. I love Okada when he does dumb stuff like give Kyle Fletcher the Rainmaker and then act like I'm sorry. Like, I mean, it's perfect.
You're
And
not
I don't
though.
believe he's ever sorry. For me, with a guy like Okada, I think there's always a hidden agenda everywhere. I'm not saying he deliberately hit Kyle Fletcher, but I don't think he's actually sorry for hitting Kyle Fletcher. Like, I think
Right.
he's like, well, yeah, so what? I'm Okada. What are you going to do about it to a certain extent? So,
Yeah.
um, in that regard, it's interesting to see that, Okada seems to be pushing everybody's buttons to a certain extent in the Don Callis family. So, at some point is Don's going to have to kind of make, I would think, a choice between Okada and some of the other members of the family, like the field, like the five rest of the members of the family versus, because like Okada pisses everybody off to a certain extent, and it just kind of does what he wants to do. So, it is
Yeah.
what it is. But at some point, they're gonna get tired of that. So, but all that said, this is fun, um, and yeah, I mean, I thought this came off fine for what it was. I thought it came off good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. A little bit of a more post match. There was some jaw jacking between Brodito and the Don Callis family. For some reason, Andrade came out because he's facing Mark Davis for the NWA Championship, and there's just a bunch of stare downs. I just want to include that. Any thoughts on the stare downs between uh, Mark Davis and Andrade for?
No, the only thing I think that is just the only thing I want to say is that I think Andrade gets that win tonight and takes that title from Mark Davis. I mean, as much as I like Mark Davis, he's not destined to be a singles champion for any extended period of time. And Andrade's a better singles wrestler. And Andrade's way over. I like Mark Davis, but Andrade is way over at the moment. How you know? I mean, at this point, like
How do you know?
if you don't put a belt on him right now, this is another, glaring missing of the boat for AEW. So, and there isn't a better time because he's willing to compete and take a smaller belt. And a guy like Mark Davis should never be beating a guy like Andrade in El Idolo. I'm sorry, he just shouldn't. I mean, I like Mark Davis, but he shouldn't be beating Andrade. So,
Totally, totally agree. Totally agree. But it's gonna be a good match though. And then Redemption, Ciampa versus the Painmaker. If you don't know who the Painmaker is, promo of what the Painmaker can do. So be scared. No holds barred. Any thoughts on this video?
No, I'm not even talking about it. I refuse to even give it any breath.
Chapel, please win. Get out of this vortex. All right. And so next we have an on-stage face-off between Willow and Tekla with no other than Bang Bang, Mick Foley as the interviewee, and I love this for y'all. We're still just love seeing Mick Foley again. We're still testing the waters on how to use him, but as of right now, just this was much. I'll say this was much better than him interviewing Fletcher after Fletcher beat Takeshita. I definitely like this much better. But yeah, so yeah, Victoria comes out, and then here comes Willow and Tekla, and I love this where it did face to face. It did feel scripted. So basically, Tekla's job jacking Willow, and Willow's like, listen, we are very much so different. What's not going to happen? But one thing that we do have in common is that in that ring we're gonna lay it all out there. But I'm gonna have to. Unfortunately for you, Tekla, I'm going to do everything I can to finally make my dreams come true. And so Tekla is being Tekla, and then while Mick Foley tries to calm things down, she tells Mick Foley to shut up, and then like whoa, pump your brakes. This is a legend. Now you're at a dumb bitch. It's like and then Will's like, because this is a legend, and more so, me and him are not that different. Where we are very cheerful, but we will do any and everything to get the job done in that ring. And I think, I think, Mick Foley and Willow watch Chill Hill Heat because I remember they were doing a game of describe this character, and they described Mick Foley and somebody else, and we're like, what? And it's like, Willow. I'm like, what? And I'm like, well, if you're a Rampage fan, Willow has to do a whole lot of hardcore matches, but she smiles. Like, okay, now you say that makes sense. I'm like, I think Willow, you too. I appreciate that. But then Tesla's like, oh, did she just use my line? I never thought that would come out of your face, but she's like, but listen here. But when we come redemption, when you're staring up at the light, well, just remember your phrase, just to smile anyway. I'm like, I can't stand you, but I love you. And so again, they're dog jacking. Big Foley's trying to separate them, but unfortunately, Tekla gets that mic and she just clocks Willow on the side. The fight goes into the ring. It feels like Tekla, it has to one up on her, but pounce! And it's just like, I love this chick. I am mad at Nashville for not responding louder for the pounce. I'm like, y'all don't even understand what just happened. Bruh. And in the segment, I love everyone in this scenario. This is very much entertaining. This definitely hyped up Tekla vs. Willow as it should. And I don't know what's going to happen, man. I don't know, but this is going to be one of the matches that are going to be far more entertaining at Redemption. Your thoughts on the whole thing?
This was very odd to me. I absolutely love Mick Foley. He's one of my favorites of all time, but he just looked odd. Like the way he first came out to the ramp and turned his back to the crowd and was kind of like looking where they come out at the ring. Like his positioning was odd to begin with. And then they came out, and I thought they killed it. I thought Tekla and Willow killed it. I thought both their promos were phenomenal. The promo work back and forth was great. The very end where Mick Foley can't barely move, but he's enough to essentially kind of keep Willow and Tekla apart when all he's doing is
yeah.
It was not enough. This was extremely corny. I'm sorry, I love Mick Foley, but this was extremely corny. Like these two women wanted each other, they just pushed Mick aside and get at each other. Like no offense to Mick Foley, but like that was not the right. So I still feel like AEW is not 1,000% sure. I texted my friend. and said, "Why does Mick look like he's uncomfortable almost?" And my friend said, "Probably brain damage." And I mean, I don't know that that's true, but like,
No.
I mean, there's a little. I mean, he's getting older. I mean, all these things, right? And like, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with him. I'm just saying it looks like he's still getting used to AEW. They're still figuring out maybe how to use him, where to put him all the time. But some of the positioning and some of his actions and movements weren't on point per se in this. But overall, I thought the thing was great. I thought it did what it was supposed to do, which was hype up Willow and Tekla. I'm here for that match. I think it's going to be probably it has the ability to be the best match on tonight's show, Redemption. And I think it's probably the most 50-50 match of the night. I really can't call that one. I mean, I just don't know who's going to win. I can really see either person winning. So I thought this did a great job of that. Mick's got to feel more comfortable or something. It just felt clunky, the Mick part, which is unfortunate because I really like Mick. They need to figure out a way to get him feeling more comfortable or put him in a different, I don't know, but it felt clunky.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm not going to say brain damage, but it does feel like him separating two. He's not used to a chick fight. I would say that, where he's like, I don't want to touch you inappropriately. My hands are up here, so I'm just using my body just in case. What's not going to happen is y'all going to case with me. I did cut somebody, and the hand went. I actually created something. That's what it's so yeah. Maybe don't go with the segment where chicks could help them. But what was I say? Now on to the next match. Guns up. We have Jay White versus Clark Connors, and this was very much so a very tasty match. Just like Nashville get on my nerves. I'm like, this is Jay White doing a solo match. I need y'all energy to be just a little bit higher on the register scale. That's just me. Side note, I appreciate them putting the light on Jay White during the freaking Bang Bang entrance finally. Thank you. Because they're hard, but I appreciate y'all fixing that. Back to the match. This is a very good match. I appreciate this. This is the first. Okay, great. Yeah, this was a very good match. This was Jay White's first. I want to say his first singles match back because he did wrestle, but it was with Bang Bang Gang. So this was his first single match. I was very much so fairly interested. It's Jay White, right? But Clark Connors did this thing as well. I was very disappointed in Nashville because it's like, bruh, I need y'all to hype this up more. What are we doing here? That's just me, but yeah. And so that kind of proves the point of the Bang Bang Gang does not have a lot of cachet, in my opinion. Unfortunately, so I'll say this: after they do Little Shillelagh versus Jay White, Jay White needs to do something else. So I'm like, in my mind, I need y'all to strike while the iron's hot with Jay White. I don't need any prolongness of stuff that is not on Jay White's level. And unfortunately, because again, I'm getting my reaction towards the crowd. The dogs aren't really getting that reaction because that should have had more reaction than it did. But nonetheless, Jay White gets the win with not the hidden blade. It was a newfangled ending, which I am not mad at. I'm like, listen, I appreciate when someone has more than one finishing move, but I don't even know what you call it exactly. Like a suplex moment. I'm actually looking at it right now. Like, if you know what he did, you tell me how you describe this new finisher.
He kind of. It was like almost like a guillotine choke, and then he rolled him into like a bridge or a tap out. Like it was kind of unclear exactly. I don't know what it's called, and I've never seen it before. It's the first time I've ever seen that submission move, but
I appreciate it.
Impressive nonetheless.
But one moment. Oh, he just yeah. So like a guillotine choke, and then he said, and then like a reverse bulldog basically, but tap out. So they would have to submission. Cool. And so the dogs. Jay White wins. Great match. What do you think about the match? Oh yeah, I'm putting it all together. I'm sorry. So at the end, Carter tries to attack Jay White, but he's a hidden blade. He's like, "What are you doing?" But sir, this is your old bandmate. You should know what they're doing. Lil Shillelagh hits him from behind, gets his little Shillelagh back, and unfortunately the bandmate gang tried to come out and help Jay, but it was too late. And Lil Shillelagh got his little weapons back, so good for you. But all in all, I enjoyed it. But Nashville pissed me off without being involved in this match. But it was a good match. Your thoughts?
No, I liked it. I mean, overall, I like it. I like Clark Connors. I like Jay White. I'm so happy Jay White is back. I mean, he makes the Bang Bang Gang relevant. That's no disrespect to Ace Austin or Juice Robinson. I like them both. I think they're both solid mid card guys. You know, the guns are the Austin and Colton are what they are. I think they're solid, but they're not anything to write home about. But they're good backup. You know, they're good fourth and fifth guys for a faction. So very happy to have Jay White back. I thought he looked very good against Clark Connors. Clark Connors is a fun wrestler. Both guys are good. I'm enjoying this feud. I just don't like I said a bunch during the collision. I'm just not a big fan of like the doggy puns, the whole vet type dog stuff, the spay and neuter stuff. But beyond that, I'm here for the wrestling and the feud. Both factions are solid. Both can really wrestle, and I'm here for it. Ultimately, I want Gabe Kidd versus Jay White. That's what I mean. I think that's the ultimate payoff we got to get at some point. Or it's going to be Finley. I guess the ultimate payoff is technically Finley versus Jay White because David Finley is really kind of like the boss. But like, I'm more interested in Jay White versus Gabe Kidd than I am versus David Finley. That being said, I do love David Finley and the Dogs. I mean, I thought this was good all the way around. I have no problem with anything that happened post match. Yeah, I mean it's fine. I mean, Finley is doing what he's supposed to do, and here's my thing. I guess the Bang Bang Gang are faces. I mean, I don't know. Again, we talked about this a lot.
As of right
AEW has
now.
a lot of tweeners, right? Like Jay White,
Yeah.
I guess he's a face. I guess they're faces, but they were kind of heelish before. I don't think of them as face guys per se. But in this match, I mean, in a feud versus the Dogs, they're definitely the face guys. So I guess it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, overall, this is fun. I mean, I enjoy this.
Yeah. I'd lay on their faces until we don't need them to be faced anymore. That's what I'll say. All right. And so next up, we have Sisters of Sin versus Divine Dominion in a street fight. For some reason, Divine Dominion were in hockey gear. I thought we were in Canada. Where I'm like, wait, why are y'all wearing hockey jerseys? Oh, sure. I've never done that, but all right, cool. Or maybe because it was a street fight, you started your street cool. All right, fine. Like, this was a fine match. It didn't suck. That was one of the most gnarly moments was one of the Divine Dominion chicks just threw a chair right across Sky Blue. I'm like, can we please let's temper ourselves and know how to properly use weapons because CTE is a thing, and if you don't know, I appreciate the shot, but as a person who wants everybody to come out of this healthy and whole, let's not throw a chair right at the girl's face because it did leave a gas. And Sky Blue was bleeding like a crackhead emotionally all over doggone floor. But I guess that they gave a nice warm edge as much as it could have been. But all in all, Divine Dominion wins with a double choke slam, as well as they should. Again, I'm not sure why this wasn't on Redemption. As much as Redemption is a throwaway card, you're just stick yourself on the wall. Like why? Why was this on Dynamite? I guess you needed a women's match, so you chose this. But this was fine. It was okay. What do your thoughts?
I'm torn. Like I feel like on a pay-per-view, titles should be defended, and the women's tag team championship should be defended. Probably. That being said, like I didn't really think the Sisters of Sin had a real chance to win. And so if it's a predictable match and might as well just do it on Dynamite, right? I mean, if I don't know. Even though the Sisters of Sin are, just won the artist trios titles over in Stardom, Sky Blue and Julia Hart, not unfortunately, Sky Blue and Julia Hart are not beating Megan Bayne and Lena Cross for those titles. They're just not at the moment. So, and knowing that, I mean, you might as well do it on Dynamite. But that being said, I mean, you're right. I mean, the tag team champions should be defending the belts on the pay per view, and they should have a better quality opponent than just, the Sisters of Sin, unfortunately. So, and I mean, as much as I like the hockey jerseys, I don't understand them. Yeah, it didn't make any sense to me either. I'm not Boston. I don't know. I don't get it. But I mean, they look cute, but I don't understand why they're wearing them. So.
It kind of shows me like it feels like they get a quick change of the lineup where it's like, oh, you're supposed to do a redemption now on Dynamite, but we bought the jerseys. All right, we'll wear them now. That's what it's up. Like. All right, we got a backstage promo of the Bang Bang Gang, and Juice Robinson is fed up. He's like, "Oh, the dog, where you running? You want to jump Jay from behind? After you beat Clark Cutters? You want to do that to our boy? Or how about we chain the dogs up? How about it's me and Jay White versus the two of you at Redemption?" And of course, Jay White accepts. We got two words for your guns. Oh, I am not mad at this. No offense to the Bang Bang Gang, but if we're going to do this, it should be Juice and Jay White. And so I am here for this match. I was gonna say I don't know who wins. I want to give the dogs a little bit of hope. Like maybe it's just a little bit of a 2 out of 3, but my money on Jay White and Juice Robinson. But just a very powerful, just a very energetic Juice Robinson with a little Jay White promo backstage. Your thoughts?
I mean, again, it's fine, and it leans a little too heavy again into the whole dog theme, and now we're having a dog collar match, which, okay, I get it. These are the dogs, might as well lean into that, heavily. So it is what it is to a certain extent. It's a little corny for me and a little much for me. That being said, the match itself should be phenomenal. All 4 guys can really wrestle, so I have no reason to think it's not going to be great. A returning Jay White probably needs a win. And it feels to me like on a regular situation, Jay White and Juice Robinson beat David Finlay and Clark Connors. However, we've talked about the dogs need wins. If you want them to feel viable, if you want them to feel like a strong faction, someone that can actually, make some waves, they have to get some wins, and they have to get big wins, not just squash matches or cheesy wins. And I'm not saying that they should be beating Jay White and Juice Robinson. I'm saying that if they ever want to be more than what they are, they have to win those matches at some point. So that being said, I don't know who gets this win, and I think it should be a lot of fun. I mean, I think it's probably Jay White and Juice Robinson. I'm leaning that way, but the dogs need a good, solid win, and I think that a win for the dogs over a Jay White means more for them than a win for Jay White over the dogs means for Jay White. Jay White's been there, done that. We know who he is, right? He doesn't have much more to prove at this point. The dogs are the ones that are on the come up. They're the young guys that are trying to prove who they are, trying to get their TV time, trying to prove that they belong in the ring with a guy like Jay White. So, in theory, they should be getting the win to help put them over but I'm sure Jay White and them get the win. I mean, Jay White's another one of those guys he feels to me like when Moxley wrestles or Ospreay wrestles, he's one of those guys
Yeah.
that's very hard to have him lose. And you have to do it in a particular way because he's Jay White and he doesn't lose. So how do you have him lose, right? Like he doesn't get beat
Yeah.
cleanly by a lot of guys. He's fucking Jay White, right? So, so it's like you got to have some sort of, outside interference or something to help beat a guy like Jay White. You don't do that cleanly, right? And so That's why I assume Jay White and Juice Robinson get the win. That being said, the dogs need wins like this. So I don't know. It's interesting.
Very interesting. Like hopefully in the perfect world, Juice takes the pin because it's a tag
Yeah.
team match that could work. But agree, the dogs need this win, so hopefully they'll get it tonight. All right, and so now it's time for the main event. We have Moxley, Osprey, and our AEW World Heavyweight Champion Kenny by God Omega versus the Don Callis family of Hechicero, the Wolverine, Brian Cage, and Jake Doyle. Definitely the B caliber of Don Callis family, but not C. Not C. The only one I would probably remove is like I would put Lance Archer without Hechicero just to beef up just a little bit. But in fact, it was a match. This was not a match. No offense to Don Callis family. This was a will they coexist challenge between Osprey, Kenny, and Moxley, and that was a very fun time in this match. Case in point, we start off with Kenny and Cesaro, and Kenny to control. He goes to his corner and he wants to tag in Will, but Will's like, no, no, I'll be the glue. Tag Osprey. Tag Moxley. He's like, no, Kenny, tag. He's like, come on. And so he's like, fine. And so like, this is so hard. That wasn't so hard. And so like all that, like it was a lot of that in this match. It was very much so fun. A couple of times the Don Callis were in control, but it was more so let's say the good guys. Yeah, the good guys were in control. Another part of it was finally getting some cohesion. We have Osprey and Moxley doing the Death Rider. I'll say the Death Rider clothesline where it was a Don Callis member in the corner, and they were just taking turns, just go like basically doing clotheslines to the corner, and then Kenny stops Osprey. He's like, nah, I'll do it. And so he's doing the line of clothesline, and again, Will Osprey's face like, boy, how are you? You can't be like he's like, yes. I can swear his face like, wee. We're all doing the clothesline. It's so very much so fun. And it ends with Kenny and Osprey slinging them, and so Malcolm can do the cutter, which was good, but like all things, nothing lasts forever. And so as with Moxie's holding up one of them for what's his name for Kenny to do the V trick, yeah, V trigger. Dude ducks, and Kenny, who doesn't know how to slow down, needs the crap out of Moxley. Moxley's out of the match, so basically now it's just Kenny and Osprey beating up Don Callis Bailey. But that goes to show how good they are because they get the 1-2-3 with a. Is that a hidden blade? What is Osprey's move?
It's a hidden blade. Osprey's move.
It's called
Yeah, wasn't
what
it?
is Jay White's move?
Yeah, it was a combo move. It was the hidden blade and the V trigger.
Yeah, but what is Jay White? What is the name of Jay White's move?
Blade Runner. Blade Runner.
Blade. I was confused, but yeah. So it was with a hidden blade and a V trigger. Hechicero, 1-2-3. Osprey, Moxley, and Omega gets the win. This was a very like you have these three teamed up together. It was very very much so tasty. Your thoughts on the match?
This was a masterclass in wrestling psychology. I mean, this is one of those where you have veterans doing what they do best in the ring. The whole not wanting to tag each other between Moxley and Omega, the pettiness, and then Omega V triggering Moxley in the face. Obviously, it was supposed to be an accident, and in theory it was, but you never know. I mean, at minimum, Omega's happy about it. At minimum, right? Like, it's not a big deal. It's only Moxley and it's V trigger. Like, couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Right.
So, no, I mean, here's the thing. This is fun. The problem with this The problem with this is that this is your main event of your flagship show, and it's 100% predictable. Brian Cage, Hechicero, and whatchamacallit are never beating John Moxley, Will Ospreay, and whatchamacallit, Kenny Omega, unfortunately,
Kenny
and
Omega.
Jake Doyle is fast.
Yeah.
So, like, if it had been Kyle Fletcher and uh, Okada and Kevin Knight, maybe there would have been some unpredictability there. Maybe you could have said, it could go either way. But these three this is definitely they're basically the lowest tier, unfortunately, of the Don Callis family, right? So,
Yeah.
and so there, that is what it is, right? This is really more about, like you said, about Moxley and Omega and Ospreay. The funniest thing that I saw in the whole match for me, well, other than the stuff with Moxley and Omega not wanting to, was Jake Doyle's like pounce thing that he did, but it was like he was thrusting his junk at them. Like, why is he jumping with his junk first? Like, dude, you don't have to lead with your penis. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and everybody like clapping around. Yeah. Like, the whole thing was odd to me. I thought the Jake Doyle move was a little odd, but
either clothesline me or something. But yeah, you just running your body, and yeah.
It looked funny.
That was hilarious.
That being said, it all went off good. The final move with the hidden blade and the V trigger looked cool together.
Yes.
Listen, Moxley, 3 years ago was Wrestler of the Year. He got the Horsey Award for Wrestler of the Year 3 years ago, I think it was.
Yeah.
And Moxley's Moxley. That being said,
right.
I don't believe at this moment in time, even with most of his days behind him, for me personally, I don't think there's a better match that anyone in the world can put on besides Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay. I think right now that is the single best match in wrestling in any federation anywhere on the planet. And we're going to get to see it at Wembley. In my opinion, we're going to get to see it at Wembley. And that's why Kenny's getting the win tonight over Kevin Knight. And, we'll see what happens. My guess is Will gets the win. This will be somewhat of the passing of the torch. Omega's kind of on his way out, not out, but out-ish. And Ospreay's stepping into that role as the single greatest wrestler on the planet when he takes that title from the best bout machine in the world. I mean, I have no reason to think in the last 5 years, I have not seen a Kenny Omega match that hasn't been a minimum of 4.5, if not a 5-star match or above. So why would this be any less? And Will Ospreay doesn't have bad matches. So, I'm here for that. So in that regard, all this works good. If it's Moxley in the mix is fun still, but it is what it is. But yeah, I'm here for Omega versus Ospreay at Wembley. I'm really on board for that. So, but I thought this was fun. The only issue I have is that your main event shouldn't be this predictable. That's my only argument about this. Great for Brian Cage, great for Hechicero, even some great for Jake Doyle to get that main event spot on Dynamite. I mean, the idea of a guy like Jake Doyle being in a main event match on Dynamite, even though his move was dumb and his spot wasn't great, is phenomenal for him because he's, at best a lower mid-card guy, right? So to get that opportunity is phenomenal. That being said, it's probably a little over his head. Like, we know what you're going to get. You're going to lose, so it is what it is. But I still enjoyed it. And if we're comparing these two shows, there's no comparison. This Dynamite was head and shoulders above Collision. It just was. So this wasn't like an A Dynamite. I wouldn't give this an A or A plus, but it was a solid B in my opinion. I think it was a B probably, and that was a very bad Collision.
We're not done yet. We're not done yet, even though it doesn't really make a difference.
We're technically not done yet. You're right.
So after the match, Moxley finally comes to, and he goes, Kenny's like, bruh, you V-triggered me. And Kenny's like, it was an accident, I really don't care. And Ospreay's trying to get in the middle of them. So what does Ospreay? I rewinded this moment a couple of times, and I'm still like, okay, who exactly pushed you? Because it's like you fell. It's not like he got shoved. By who? It felt like I did not see any hands shoving him off where he fell to the floor. That's just me. But like here comes Young Bucks because they're like, hey, don't get in, they're like, hey, don't get in our boy's face. And so the fight breaks out and ensues. And then we have it makes sense because it is Moxley and Will versus the Young Bucks. So they're bowing out. But here comes Don Callis' family trying to gang up on Kenny Omega. Kenny got, unfortunately, he has Miami Roppongi Vice on the rope ready to be trigger. But out of nowhere, Kevin Knight comes over the top rope and just bow hits Kenny with the World Championship, and then he stands tall with both titles. Is Kenny do both happening? It's not. It's not. I appreciate the effort, but it's not. Let's call it spade a spade. But it was a very nice visual to end the show, and so it's like that was a good ending. Don't believe he's winning, but it was a very nice ending. And so to your point, this was in the Dynamite. This was a very good go home show where it's very action packed. More wrestling the better, and I will never have a problem with that. Just be safe. Make sure you get to the pay per view. Yeah, solid. It'd be Collision. It'd be Collision. No matter what I give, whatever grade I give it, it was better than Collision. But to give it a grade for grade sake, nothing stupid was on here. It said disability, B plus, B plus. You're stopping the ending and reiterate your grade.
Yeah, I mean, again, the ending was it's one of those situations where it gets a little too clustery. There's a little too much going on, They didn't have 8 million people in the ring, thankfully, but they still had a couple too many. Like, I understand it's a Callis family, and you send out the thugs, Roppongi Vice, but really, I mean, I love Trent Beretta and I love Ricky Romero. Like, those are guys that are dear to my heart. But the way you've used them, I couldn't care less at this point about either of them. And that when those are the two that are coming to the ring, especially against the AEW World Champion, Omega's going to end up getting the upper hand. He just is. That's just the way it's going to work. So, it is what it is. I thought it worked out fine. Kevin Knight, splashing on Omega and standing over him with the two belts still does nothing to me to make me think that he's going to be beating Kenny Omega. I mean, it's a nice spot and good for Kevin Knight to get that that camera shot and that cameo as holding the two belts, which is my opinion as close as he's going to get to it. So, hold those two belts, have that moment, get that shot. Great for you, great for your career, but you're not beating Kenny Omega tonight. And, I think at some point it's highly likely Kevin Knight is the right kind of guy to be AEW World Champion, but not today, and not in front of a guy like a Kyle Fletcher. I mean, there's other guys that deserve runs with that belt way before a Kevin Knight deserves a run with that belt. And that's no disrespect to Kevin Knight. It just is what it is. There's guys that are better, and there's guys that haven't had an opportunity that are better. So, all that said, this was still fun. The ending was a little bit of a cluster, but it is what it is. They like to do that. Tony Khan's big on having a lot of people involved in things. Like everyone's involved in more than one thing, or at least the big guys, like the big name people, right? They've all got multiple things going on. They've all got multiple feuds. They've all got, so, it's fitting that there's 8 million people in the ring. So, but yeah, no, I mean, am I great? I'll give it a B. I mean, I'm being probably overly generous. Like I said, Collision was probably a C minus or a D show. I gave it a C, and this might have been a B plus or an A minus. I'm giving it a B. There wasn't anything horribly egregious on this show in any way, shape, or form. In fact, it was a very solid show. It wasn't as good as Beach Break, but it is what it is. I mean, for a go-home show, I thought it was good. For a pay-per-view that feels kind of like just kind of whatever, we're doing it to do it. The build-up felt good on this show. So, yeah.
It did.
Definitely Dynamite gets the win, though, this week over a very down Collision. So, all right. If we don't got anything else to say, I'll do a little bit of cleanup. and we will get up out of here. Let's see. Join us every Tuesday night as soon as I can get it to come up for the cookout. 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 Eastern, where we all come together and talk about what's cooking up in the world of professional wrestling. Come for the wrestling, stay for the chaos. On Friday nights, you can get Anika and sometimes Sammy Joe watching Friday Night SmackDown in real time, giving you her real time review and opinions of the show. That's 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern when SmackDown starts. Then we have the Winner's Circle, which is either on Saturday morning or Sunday night. As you see, we're here with you Sunday night tonight. It's either 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern on Saturday mornings, or 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern on Sunday nights. So the best way to make sure that you know whether it's going to be on Sunday or on Saturday or Sunday, since it is much watch television or much watch whatever this is, video stream, whatever you want to call it, is to have that little bell clicked so that you'll get a notification when we are about to go live on either Saturday or Sunday. Let's see. Come check us out on these social media platforms. Love to interact with you guys. You can scan this little QR code, and that horsey will take you to Linktree. And from Linktree, you can get to all social media from one place, or you can just go to any of these social media outlets and check us out on those platforms. And last but not least, our beloved producer Dolores downloads the audio version of the Cookout podcast and uploads it to these podcast platforms so you can listen to the Cookout when you're working out, driving in your car. If you don't have time to sit and watch us, you can just listen to our golden vocal cords anywhere you want to. So make sure and check out the audio version of the Cookout on those podcast platforms. I think that's basically it. We should be here Tuesday night unless life be lifing. But we should be here. So make sure and join us on Tuesday night for the cookout. Anything else to say before we cut the lights and get out of here?
Peace out, Girl Scout.
Cut those lights, as Dolores loves to do. And until next time, peace.
Bye.
That's the call. Win a circle standing tall.